arguments start today in the U.S. Supreme Court over Louisiana's latest congressional map. That map created a second majority black district and covers Baton Rouge to Shreveport. State lawmakers approved the map last year after a federal ruling required fair representation. A group of voters, though, challenged the map and called it unconstitutional racial gerrymandering. Attorney General Liz Merrill tells us that she will urge the nation's highest court today to uphold that decision. And voters from Baton Rouge and other areas are in Washington, D.C. this morning to show support for that congressional map. The outcome of this case will determine if Democrats or Republicans will have the advantage in the district in the 2016 midterm elections. The challenge could also affect how Louisiana and other states can consider race when creating legislative maps.
The decision made by the Supreme Court will say to black voters whether or not they have an opportunity to elect officials of their choice or if their power will be diminished.
So this isn't just a fight for one district. This is a fight for democracy. It's a chance to stand up for what's right and make history.
Now, Congressman Cleo Fields was elected in that new district. The Supreme Court is not expected to give a decision in this case until June.
And Louisiana First reporter Kayla Gaston was there on Saturday as the Power Coalition for Equity and Justice took off to D.C. on their fight for fair representation. She has more on this story.
We want the Supreme Court to understand that we are just not passive observers, but that we are active participants in this democracy.
A push for fair representation is taking Louisiana voters from Baton Rouge and New Orleans to the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court. The Power Coalition for Equity and Justice is leading the charge, mobilizing community members and legal advocates ahead of Monday's hearing in Louisiana versus Calais. The case will determine the future of Louisiana's congressional map.
The decision made by the Supreme Court will say to black voters whether or not they have an opportunity to elect officials of their choice or if their power will be diminished.
In 2024, state leaders created a second majority black district after a federal ruling required fairer representation. The district covers Baton Rouge to Shreveport, but a group of voters challenged the map, calling it unconstitutional racial gerrymandering. Attorney General Liz Merrill will head to D.C. Monday to defend the map. She released a statement Saturday saying in part, quote, "I urge the Supreme Court to uphold Louisiana's map and provide clarity to states that, like Louisiana, are forced into endless litigation every time a new census requires redistricting," end quote. Now the Supreme Court will make a final decision. For those making the trip, the stakes are high.
So this isn't just a fight for one district. This is a fight for democracy. It's a chance to stand up for what's right and make history.
For some people, it feels like a reenactment of the civil rights movement.
Reporting for Louisiana First News, I'm Kayla Gaston.